All right, so let us start. I have a couple deals from Kyle. We'll look at first. Kyle, I can see that you're on the call. Okay. So let's share my screen. There we go. All right, everybody sees that? Good. Okay, so Kyle, we're looking at this deal first. Anything you want to tell us about this deal before I look at it? Anything you want to share with the group? So the asking price is $199, purchase price is $169. Looks like the ARV is $205,700. Now I don't see you have any repairs there, Kyle. Anything you want to share about that? The triplex in New Brunswick, okay. And in reference to repairs, anything that needs to be done? The rental unit that is currently empty. Okay, so one vacancy of the three. So the rental unit can be turned into a suite with a retail unit that is currently empty. Okay, no, the retail space is a fourth space. Okay, I see. So this is right now with the 3 units only. We're analyzing with the 3 units only, but the fourth one could be turned into another space, correct? Beautiful. Okay, so let's look at it the way it is now. Asking price $199, purchase price $169. ARV, is that assumption is when it's converted? Okay, is there any cost to that conversion? What's the cost? Or estimated cost? $20K. So we should put $20K in there for repairs. So purchase plus repairs would be $289, correct? Okay, so great. So gross rent's $33.50, $11.17 a unit. I'm assuming because it's New Brunswick and stuff, this is a good area. They're paying about $1,000 a unit. I would assume it's in a higher end area. Is that correct, Kyle? Click on the gross rent to see the formula. Okay, so yeah, the rents are on the higher end. So I assume it's just in a good area. That's all. Okay, good. All right, so gross revenue $40,200. Vacancy, maintenance, exact expenses, which we have over here. These are the expenses that have been verified. Let's go back to this. Right. Okay. Good. All right. So 9,835 is what's remaining. Gross rent multiplier is outstanding. Cap rate is low relative, and the reason is because the expenses are on the upper end, the higher end of what it would cost. I've also been Scheduled A and Schedule B, so those are accurate. Okay. All right. Gas looks like the one that's costing us quite a bit, and electricity on these. So these are inclusive properties, units. Okay, so when we go over here, 80/20, if we do 20 seller financing at 3.95, and okay, so the mortgage at 3.5, I see the financing at 30 years at 3.95. Where's that? Is that source, that the money? Just because the rate is 3.95. Is that your own line of credit or something like that? Go to the next tab over. Okay. All right. So the 395. This. Oh, I see. This is you put the 20% down. Yes. Okay, I see. Okay. So monthly payment $675. Yearly cash flow 3835, monthly cash flow 106 per unit, and return is 10%, which is great. So you met all the requirements. Stands up. Obviously, we can attempt to improve it by getting some seller financing involved, or investors involved. Have you attempted to ask Kyle for seller financing? They said no. Okay, you asked, so that's the good thing, Kyle. That's awesome. Okay, all right. So Kyle, this particular property, are you looking for someone to invest with you on this property? Is this something you want to open to the group, or you're the financing, you want to take care of this yourself? Just curious. I'm looking for 3 offers, but probably can't get the financing on all 3. Okay, I see, Kyle. So 3 different properties. Yeah. Okay. So this particular property, Kyle. I mean, if we do a couple things, and I see over here you put 4 units. If we got the 4th unit and bringing in more income for us, I can see that the cash flow goes up, and here seller financing at 41. I'm not sure. This one, so repairs 46,000. What are you looking at here? This is year 2. Can you share a little bit about that? So may need partner for what I cannot get. You will have to correct the numbers because I sent you the wrong Excel file. Oh, okay. All right. So when we look at the 4, is this one accurate? This one here? So repairs cost 20,000. So this is an accurate document right here. This one's accurate, yes? Okay. So what do you think we can get for the 4th one? Let's just assume we can get the average, okay? So 1,100, okay? So we're going to add 1,100. Okay, so if we add 1,100 to the property, clearly improves, the return clearly improves, right? If we add it, the expenses will go up by, let's just say that the expenses go up by 1/4. So let's go back up here. It won't really go up by 1/4 because taxes, insurance are the same. Water and sewage, electricity and gas, snow removal. So why don't we do this? These 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this equals, just to get an idea, sum these 3, okay, and equals this divided by 4 is another 29. So we're going to do this. We're going to go other. Everybody with me? I'm just adding another 2907, which is probably more than it would cost for the 4th unit to be active. Is everybody with me? I'm just adding a 4th unit for cost of $2,900 a year. Okay? Okay? It won't be that much, but let's err on the side of that. Okay, so if we go over here, we see that, whoops, this one, that our expenses, okay, so expenses were now 20,000. Let me double check that. 23,000. Let's just double check that. Now equals this here. I probably put it in the wrong expense sheet. That's all right. There we go. Oops. Equals this. Okay, there we go. That's accurate. All right. Yeah, sure, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I did. I think I put it in number 2, but we're still okay. It's 23,000. So with the added expense and the additional unit, and the expenses I've hyped up shouldn't be that high, notwithstanding something else coming up. The property is excellent, great property. We'd have here 4 units here. Just want to change that. 4 units. That's even with your own money. If you put your own money in it, you'd be getting about a 30% return, $230 a unit. So this property would earn you close to $1,000 a month just on this one property, which is pretty amazing. If we did a seller financing and we offered 10%, yeah, even if we offered 10% on the property, this should equal 260. That should equal the third one. This one. Okay. Let me see something here. That's right. Okay. All right. So even if you offer 10%, you'd still make $190 a unit, and you'd be able to pay someone 10%, and you'd obviously up your return on investment of $48,000. What happens if we were to pay full price? Let's look at that. So if we did purchase price of $199,000, we'd still be okay. We'd still be fine with the property. If we did 20%, let's look at that. So 20% is still going to work for us. I think that, Sam, we need to add the repair cost to the cash on cash return. The cash on cash return, yeah. Wait a minute. Let's see if it did add it. It didn't. Let's see. Repairs. The cash on cash return should be against the purchase price, which is, oh, right. That's right. Purchase price plus repairs, $219. So $219, which is C6. Where's that going from? H23. Give me 1 second. H23. Here. So we do make 9,000, right? Let's see. So we put up 219. So the cash flow is the cash flow, 219. But the cash flow, that's monthly cash flow per unit. That's not going to change. This will. H23, H6. No, I think, wait, H6, the 43,000. No, that's right. Because it's calculating the, oh wait, you're right. Because we're adding 20,000. That's right. If it's our own money, that's right. That's absolutely right. So we're adding our own money plus. So it's H20, H6 plus this. H3 plus this repairs. That's right. Now we got to update that. Oops, that didn't work. H23 divided by, oh, you got to do this. Brackets around that, or it's going to calculate the other one first. Let's do that. That should work. Yep, there we go. That's right. Okay, now we're right. What if you add the out-of-pocket amount? That's what I'm doing right here. I just added the out-of-pocket amount, 20 grand. So it's 15.1% return. Okay, that's with you putting up the money. Does that make sense, Kyle? So Kyle, so the 199, how firm are they on that? Have you tried to offer or reduce or make any moves on that? I know no offer yet, but what's the feeling with the realtor and stuff? Now you'll explain how my first offer goes. First offer, not on this property, a different property, yes? Realtor thinks they are very flexible. Okay, so let me just share with everybody. You could put multiple offers. You could put offers on 10 properties. Make sure your deposit is refundable, obviously. And if not all of them come through and financing becomes a problem, obviously you can pick and choose which one you want, right? If you can't get financing, that's one of the clauses in your contract. Just make sure it doesn't expire or you sign off on it if you don't know for sure. Does that make sense to everyone? You could put multiple offers out. It's not a problem. Better to get control of a property or an opportunity than find out later that it's gone and it was a good opportunity and something you really wanted. Then get it under contract, find out financing doesn't work out, and you just release yourself of the property due to the financing clause. So this property here, I would say, is in great shape. I mean, it's got a decent return. This is with us putting 20% now. There will be a slight change in the return if we go back to the 3, right? If we do 3, I go back to 3. Okay, so if we go back to 3, we got the other one still there. And we remove, let's just move this back over here. Side this one. So we have this one, which we just did, and this one. Okay, so let's move this one over here so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so we have this one here, which is 3 units. I just changed the number. We're going to change the expense. We're going to remove this, go to here to see that change to 20. Good. And this is the old income. We had 20,000 here. I think it kept the old one. That's all right. We'll live. Purchase price. We're going to go to 165, which is what you had. I believe you had 165. Is that right? Let's see. I want to see something here. This is the one we changed. What was the original price you had in there? 169. 1669000. Okay, so oops, too many zeros. Let's go over here. 3 units. Let's see if this is matching up. 3 units. Purchase price of repairs is 89 because we put those in. ARV is 205. That's the ARV. It's the ARV. Nothing's going to change there. That's the income that we're working with. Now, when we look at this one, and we go 0, 20, and what are you taking? Equals. That's weird. Change there. Equals that. It should equal. Okay, so if we get it for purchase price of 169, in the ARV, we won't worry about the ARV right now. 269 and purchase price is plus repairs is 289. That's what we're going up against, 289. Now, the mortgage, let's look here. Gross rent multiplier is good. The mortgage with the reduced income is 7195. So let me see something here. 20. This is the one we're looking at. What just happened? Oh, because I removed it. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so 169 plus 29,000 is purchase price of 189. 38,000 for gross income. That somehow dropped. How did that drop? Did these numbers change or move? Are these right? Because the income was higher. It was these 3. Let's go back over here. There. Now that's right. Okay, the income. So which income is right? This one? 11, 1250, and 1000. Is that right, Kyle? Okay. All right. So 40,000 in gross revenue. Okay. That's right. That's right. Gross revenue multiplier is great. Cap rate is 4.9. Okay. This financing is good. Out of pocket, 20%. I had made a cleaner file for you, but then sent you the wrong one. No worries. No worries. It's okay. It's not bad to go through it this way. Okay. So as it sits with the 3 units and the 1 empty unit, it doesn't look as appealing for sure because it's 3.2 and it's 33 per unit. A couple things that could be done initially was to move the mortgage to a 30-year. If you can get a 30-year on it, that would be better. It's a 3-unit. You can get a residential mortgage on it, so you possibly could get a 30-year mortgage on it. What else could we do to improve that? See, so this is a case right here where I would go to the seller and I'd say, look, the property without that 4th unit rented out, that's going to be a challenge. So even if you get it for the purchase price of $169, with that extra $20K that you're putting in, the best bet you could do is immediately refinance the property when it gets up to 205. Now, 80% of 205, what would that give us? An extra 160? Not really. 165, maybe another 10 grand. That's not going to help enough. So without this 4th unit situation, this property as it sits, it's gonna make you a little bit of money, but the expenses are pretty high on it. Remove the repair cost. Why am I removing? Just curious. Why did I do that, Cal? Just because that's the cost that makes the 4th unit a rental. Oh, I see. So the 3 units don't need to be touched. That's a good point. Yeah, is that right, Cal? 3 units don't need to be touched. Okay, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. So that would make a difference. As it sits now, you're about $56. That's if we can get a 30-year mortgage on it. If it's 25, it's 33. What happened here? What are we missing? This didn't look this bad initially. What are we missing? What are we missing, Kyle? But if you invest in the 4th unit and the ROI goes way up, so I'm wondering if that's worth the risk. Well, yeah, the 4th unit is really the difference in this property for income. You gotta look at both scenarios. If the property is purchased as is, you're gonna make, $100 a month off of 3 units. You've covered all your expenses. That's correct. All of this has been covered. But that's a lot for $33, right? It's obviously maintenance, vacancy, and property management are not expenses that are immediately go out, right? Only if we use them, right? Only if we use, the maintenance needed. That you want that as a buffer, right? You want to know you're making money if things go wrong. That's why we have to put those costs with it. With the 4th unit, it works. With the original unit, let me check something out here. 3 units. Okay, this is right. I want to just check something real quick here. Let's go 25. Just wanted to see something. See if that moved. Yeah. So it wouldn't lose money initially. You'd still make money on it, because you're putting all those extra costs in there. Just to give you an example, folks, of what we're talking about here with these expenses. If I change these all to 0, to give you an example, okay? Impact-wise. Look, oops, didn't grab it. This one. All right. Now I grabbed it. Look at the difference when you don't account for those costs. Cell 12, C12 looks wrong. Cell C12 looks wrong. C12. That was the expenses for the property that came from here. I took them out just to show the impact of your income. But you got to remember, you got to put that money aside so you're not in trouble. Look what happens when we don't account for those things. It looks like an amazing property, but as soon as you add those expenses, right, we see that the property shifts. So that shouldn't be 26% though. Oh, you know what it is? Let me see something here. That is not right. That should be 20%. So where is this per year? I think you changed that. That should equal, this should be equals this times this for okay. Now that's right. Should be right. Let's see. Now it's right. There we go. How you might have messed with that formula. That's only looking at the gross income. So now it looks normal. You're right. It should be at 20%. This is right. So this looks good. This looks good again because it was obviously taking more money off the expenses. Now these expenses are accurate. Now we're at 11.3. Now this looks good. This looks good. Did you change the formula there? Yeah, it's changed here too. Must have. No worries. No worries. Well, the property looks the property looks good. Looks good. Kyle, looks good. Even now this is with 25%. This is us putting 20%. This is a good property now. Now I'd say yes. So it looks good if we can shave 30K. Yeah, because without, well, let's look at actual price, okay? Oops. You're still okay. You're still okay. It's right on the edge. It's right on the edge. You're still making the cash flow. I'd say you're good. I'd say this property is worth definitely putting an offer on and doing your due diligence for sure, even at 199. But Cal, obviously we gotta get the best possible price, right? Best possible price. So, see what if they're motivated. Yeah, if they're motivated, come in with a price of maybe like 159 or 162.37, something like this. Some odd number, just to test it. If you think, if the realtor is telling you that they're motivated, great. If you come in with 169, though, you're probably not going to get it for 169. You know this, yes? I mean, that if that's your price that you want to go. I would say that your maximum offer price is right there. 190,000 is the max you really want to pay because that gets you that 10%, right? So I would say, if you want to start at 165, 168, and see where it goes, I wouldn't, as a rule, you need to find a cutoff line. So 190 maybe would be your cutoff line because that'd still give you the 10% even if you put up your own capital. Does that make sense? Obviously, we'd have to do due diligence on all the, the property itself and stuff like that. Okay. Any questions about this property? Any more? Obviously, when you get that fourth unit up, Cal, it's gonna be a cash cow. It'll be really good. It'll be really good with the fourth unit. The fourth unit. Why is this doing that? It must have changed it. You must have changed it over here. Also. See something here. Let's do this. Copy. Go back over here. Paste. Do that. It's still pulling off the other sheet. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's okay. The sheet that because I want to jump onto the next property. As it sits right now, it still makes sense. The fourth property is going to spike it up, for sure. Sorry about the spreadsheet. No worries, no worries, no worries. It's okay. All right, so this one's good, Kyle, yes? Okay, good. Let's go to Kyle 1, Kyle 2, this one. This is it. Wait. Kyle, were they on both? Were both those units you pushed to me? Were they the same file? No. Then we're having then while having in mind a max of 190, which is 5% of the initial price. Yes. Why having a max of 190, which is 5%? Then having, sorry, Frank, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying there. Give me a second. Let me try to find that other file. Hold on. Try again. So, want to offer max 190. Yeah, 190 is the max. So, Frank, you're seeing that 190 gives us the 10%. That's why we want a max price of 190, right? We just tested it, purchase plus repairs. In this scenario, there are no repairs. But you start negotiating at 20% less, 165. Yeah, I would for sure, because if you start with 190, you're probably not going to get 190, right? You have to leave yourself some room to give back, for them to allow them to, counter offer with you. If you start, too high, there's no room, and you'll go over your max price. If you start too low, you could offend them. So this is where, talking to the realtor and explaining and trying to understand the motivation and how far you can go would be a good idea. What would the 165 is too low, and the seller gets offended and stops negotiating with you? Well, I mean, this is it. You don't want to go stupid. That's not 165 is not crazy. 165 is about 17%, something like that. 35, yeah, about 17%. And you let them know, that's you ran the numbers. That's why you don't want a flat number. You ran the numbers, and this is what you came up with because of the cost of the conversion of the fourth unit. If they say, well, that's too low, that's great. Give me a counter offer. So you want to give an explanation. That's why you don't want to put 165 flat. Does that make sense? But 165 wouldn't be that crazy. I would just add 165. I would need probably 166, 432. 432, yep, as an offer, just showing that you've ran the numbers. Okay, Kyle, we good with that one? Okay, so what? The other one is 2-2, right? Is that right, Kyle? 2-2? The 2-2, right? Yes, okay. Let me bring up that one. Give me 1 second. Let me go through this one. I want to go through one for Marie. Marie, you're on the call, yes? The Airbnb you were looking at, right? So can you do the 5-unit one? You sent me 2 files. The 2-2, is that a 5 unit? I think so. Okay, that's all right. I swear I had it up already, but let's just, for the sake of that, let's do this. I'm bringing it up now. There we go. That's this. No, see, no, that's what came up again. This is, wait, let me see this. L4. That's still coming up. Oh, maybe it's this one. I know the one you're talking about. Hold on. Let me see. I think I got the one you're looking at. This one. Right? This is the one you're talking about, right? Okay, good. The reason I ask about the 5 units is because my mortgage broker is saying I might have to be 35% down instead of 20. The reason is it's a 5 unit, and most institutions are going to consider that commercial. That's why. You can find, brokers that will constitute it as a residential, but they're more scarce. So most institutions are going to tell you that 5 is commercial. That's why they're saying 65-35. Does that make sense? Okay, so this one, that's what I was told. Yeah, for sure. All right, so this one's also 169. This one's 169. That's good. 38. Okay. 762 is the unit. ARV. Sorry, the units is 5. The per unit is 762. How's the area for this one? How's the area? Is the area decent? It's in the same area, actually. Wow. Really? Well, but not as nice. Okay. How is the state of the building? Is it, what do you imagine in repairs? I see repair units year 1, repair units year 2. Is this, what repairs do you anticipate initially when you purchase? Do you know? Do you have an estimate on repairs? 2 units are vacant. 2 of these 5 are vacant. Is it $200 unit? Or no, wait. 2, 4, 5 plus 200 for the garage. Okay. 550, 750. Okay. So right now, I mean, as it's fully tenanted, this looks great. The concern you have to worry about, Kyle, is the realtor says no issues getting tenants. Well, just basically the type of tenants you're getting in, making sure that you're looking for those long-term tenants and screening with your property management is pretty important, and making sure that the property stays in good health, right? That you're repairing it and maintaining it well. Any word on repairs needed, Kyle? Just updates to the 2 vacant units. Do you have an idea of cost? $30K. This is hence this one, right? $30K. just cosmetic. 30K for the 2 units, I assume. Okay. So let's change this to 6535. Just let's look at that for a second. 6535, and purchase price becomes 199. We need to make sure that the repairs were added into this one, so it's H23, because this is the amount we're looking at. So we got to make the same change. I got to update the sheet with that actually. Let's see. Plus this here, which is repairs. This. Should work. Yes, okay, there we go. Now it's additional repairs have been added. Okay, so to give us that number. That looks right. That looks right. So even with the repairs and the purchase, you're still looking at 12.7% return, but that's fully tenanted, right? That's fully tenanted. So if we went to which two of these is empty? Rents. Which rents are not coming in? Which ones? The 2 cheapest. Well, that's good news. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that for a sec. That's really good news, actually. Let's make this a 3 unit for a second. And let's get rid of the 30,000 because that's not included. Okay. So when you get this property, if the only 3 units are bringing you income, you're basically breaking even on the property. And that's with the 6535. Now, you talk to your mortgage broker. Can you get somebody that'll look at 5 properties as residential? Because if we can make, yeah, he'll try, good. Because if you can make this residential, if you can make it residential, well, it improves it a little bit. Well, that went the wrong way. Oh, that's because you put more down, that's why. You definitely want it to be residential, though. That would require you 60 grand. You don't want that. So I still don't worry about the numbers because it looks worse, but it's worse because you're mortgaging more, so your mortgage payment goes up. Okay, that's why it looks worse. You'd still want to go 80-20 on this for sure. Less money of yours is the better. So your dilemma is this: this property is gonna break even for you unless you get those 2 units. 2 units filled. What's the flexibility on the purchase price? Any flexibility? See, the dilemma with these properties, and it's not to steer you away from it, is the expenses on these ones, right, are much higher out east. You know, look at gas and electric. I mean, and look at this, taxes. You know, you're paying $4,100 taxes on a property that's worth $170,000. That's high, but that's the way it is there. I'm negotiating now. Already made the offer. Looks like I will get it for $160. Okay, so it's the property at 3 units is gonna just be below break even. Now remember, folks, again, this is with us taking on these expenses, right? Like if I take these out, and I don't want you to do this, but I'm trying to explain the buffer that we're trying to make with why it's important for us to do that. If we take those out, where is it? Where'd it go? This one. If we take those out initially, where's the 3 unit? Put 3. This should say 0. equals C12 times D10. Oh, you just did it that way. All right, well, same difference. Okay, if we do that, to see what happens, everybody, all of a sudden it's making money. 130 unit for the 3 units and 13.9. If we even went to the 65, 35, it's still work. Does everybody see that? But this is the trap, folks. If you don't account for those things and things happen, Kyle, it can go bad real fast. So why don't you keep us updated on this one? See what can come up. Obviously, if you need anything, you can reach out. That's how we advertise it on the MLS, right? Yeah. I mean, you have to recognize, that there's a cost to ownership. Vacancy maintenance and property management is part of it. You want to make sure that you account for that. Does everybody understand? That's very, very important. Don't be seduced thinking, well, I don't have to worry about these things. You always have to worry about these things, right? So initially, it's not like you're going to lose money initially, or you'll lose a little bit of money, but you need those 2 units filled. And if this is a question of due diligence, right? So Kyle, that's great. You made an offer on it. Got it under contract, hopefully for 160, or we'll get it. Time to do the due diligence, make sure this thing makes you money from day one. Does that make sense? Good. All right, Kyle, any questions with this one? And remember, Kyle, I did 65-35, and it still works, right? That's without those initial expenses you'll be paying. But property management, you want to be paying for and making happen. That's just on a yearly basis. So if you move forward and get things in order, you will need property management. You'll need to do it. So even if I put the 10%, you're still making $80 a unit. It's just a question of you're putting up a lot of capital and you're making 5%. That's with the property management. See what I'm saying? So we need those incomes to come in. And you know what, Kyle? Should this unchanged price change if it gets to 160? 160 will help us. Sure will. 160 will help. It'll help. For sure will. So with the 20% down, it's going to look better for a return, for sure. But at the end of the day, you need those units. You need those units filled, right? You need the units filled, and that's got to be number one on your agenda, right? And the other thing I want you to check, the expenses that are listed here, is this fully tenanted? Yeah, there's always a risk, Kyle, but this is why we do due diligence. That's fully tenanted, really? So with all the tenants in, these are the bills, right? Well, that's good, Kyle, because that means that you can be profitable on day one, because they're not using two units are not using resources, right? So Kyle, just double check that those expenses are fully tenanted. The 2 are empty, just became that way. Okay, good. I think good. Does everybody understand why it's going to make us a little bit more money than we thought? Obviously, those 2 units are not using resources, so those bills are going to be a little bit less, and so Kyle, you're probably looking at break even or a little bit of profit or a little bit of loss initially. Need those 2 units to bring in that income, but it's in better shape when you're looking at that way. Okay, I see if the opportunity, because now I can renovate and increase the rent. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Good. All right, as long as the market will take a call, and obviously if there's units that are paying $1,000 in that area, which you show here, 1,000, 710, and 850, you should be able to do that. You should be able to do that for the 2 units. And you want to put it up higher, as high as you can. All right, Kyle, any questions? We good? No, good, excellent, good job, good hustle. All right, so Marie, you on the call? Marie, you on the call for the Airbnb? Yep, okay, good. We're gonna look at your Airbnb, okay? So let's go. So this is the, no, that's wrong. Okay, let's see this. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Okay, where's the, hold on. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Oh. It's on my other screen. All right. Oh gosh, that's funny. All right, so here we go. Yeah, Frank, it wasn't fully tenanted. Wasn't fully tenanted. That's why we were looking at 3. Okay, so Frank, Sam, when the opportunity is fully tenanted, like the owner lives there, his family occupied in another unit, so the seller is over selling a business that does not exist yet. So how much discount would you ask to reflect the real business value of the property? Wait a minute, Sam, when the property is fully tenanted, like the owner lives there, his family occupied in another unit, so the seller is over selling a business that does not exist yet. It's not fully tenanted. I don't understand this situation, Frank. The guy's selling a property, not a business, a property, right? This is the property, Frank? Okay, he's selling a property, and it's not fully tenanted. Let's do this, Frank. Let's do this for me. Frank, send it to me in a sheet. So, for instance, they say they 3 units for $600K. And it's a 5 unit, is that what you're saying? This will be tough, Frank, to get sorted out. But 2 of the 3 are occupied by the owner. His multi-unit is owner occupied, therefore asking a higher asking price than the investor can afford. Let's do this. Frank, send me the numbers on that. Is that right, Frank? The multi-unit is the owner occupied, therefore asking for a higher asking price than the investor can afford. Okay, let's look at the numbers. Let's just look at the numbers with that. Frank, send it to me, okay? And we'll make sure we review it on Tuesday if you want with the rest of the group, which I love doing, folks. And we can see what we can figure out until then. Okay, so Marie, you with me? All right, this is a property, yes? We're looking at? I got the right one here? Okay, good. 199, repairs 75, purchase price 170. This is family owned, yes? I remember you saying that, right? Family owned? Okay, so you can get it for 170? Pretty sure about that? Maybe, okay. 195 is total with the repairs, income. Now the income numbers, I know you were, this is an Airbnb, so you were estimating the income based on other units in the area, correct? Yes. So your vacancy rate in this area, you've actually calculated the income for the whole year, correct? Okay. So with this kind of situation, you know, by you adding a 5% vacancy, oh, you got 0 there, a 0% vacancy, you need all this money to come in for this property to make this money. Okay, it's a single unit, 6,000 a year. So I could tell you now, this is the worst case scenario. Okay, the vacancy is calculated in the income already. Okay, Marie, good. I would tell you, like, I mean, these are tougher to assess because it's really based on your ability to rent them out. I know Airbnb is very I mean, it's a great business. It can be extremely profitable, but it has to be filled at least part of the time. So Marie, how much time did you estimate? Did you estimate 8 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year? What was the estimation based on? Just curious. A full year. It's going to be rented out for a full every day for a full year. What did they? Well, there's months that the vacancy is bigger. Okay, so Marie, how many months out of the year will this be occupied? What are they estimating on? Like full months, yes. Which months of the year will it be full? Does it get rented out the whole year? Is that what this area does? People rent it out for the full year? Like any time during the 12-month period? That's what I mean. July, August. So just the 2 months they rent out, just July and August, it's full, but the other months up and down, yes? Okay, so Marie, let's do this. I mean, based on what you're calculating, for sure this is a great property. But let me ask you something real quick. I see you have seller financing. That's coming from a second person? From an outside person? The owner. The owner is going to put up that money? That's good. And out of pocket, 15% is going to come from you, yes? Well, 15, this sounds VTV. So if that should be zero, right? No loan. That should be zero, right? Out of pocket, zero then? Oh, you put 25K for the repairs. Is that what you're estimating? If put there, but it's a loan. Okay, and the loan's paying 10%, 25 years, 10%? Okay. No loan. Yes, if it's put there, it's a loan. 34 is VTB and 25 is a loan. The 25 for repairs, yes? Is that what you mean? Okay. And you were just putting in as a payment. I see what you did. Okay. So 25, that's why you came up with the 25, right? Let's do this. I'd rather do this. Let's do, maybe we'll add one if there's a loan. Maybe we'll add another thing. It's also a loan for 5 years at 10%, is that right? Okay. That's where you did 15. There you go. I see what you did. Okay. Okay. But we've added it in twice. So really that the loan amount is there. So let's do this. This is what we're going to do, okay? We're going to increase this to 35%, which will give us the loan. You know what? Let's just leave it like that for now. Okay. Based on those numbers, this has been counted twice. So your real return is more like 50% return, but it's counting the repair and this out of pocket all together. It's counting this and this 25 grand together. So really the return is more on the 50% side. This is what I'd ask you to do, Marie, just to make sure. How much could you rent this place out if you rented it out just as a regular house? How much rent could you get? If you rented it out to a family for, you know, a year lease, do you know what you could get for it? Okay, Marie, let's do this. Okay, so I want you to run numbers on the property as a regular rental, just a rental property, okay? And I want to see what the numbers look like then. Yeah, let's see what worst case scenario, okay? Now that being said, I want you to see that it could dig a pretty big hole if it's just being rented out as a house. So the Airbnb is pretty important to the success of this investment for you for sure. Worst case scenario, we could look at a rent to own if needed be, but renting this out, I want you to see the impact of worst case scenario if you rented it out just as a house, what it would cost you in the way of additional costs, because you're gonna probably have a negative cash flow on a single family home. It's a cottage, okay. So do people live there all year round, Marie? Just curious. Yes and no? Okay, we'll see what it would cost if somebody lived there full year round and rented it out. I don't know. I just want to see the impact of it. Now, the other thing, Lake, a lot of stuff to do. That's good. So, Marie, let me ask you something. If you put in 25 grand in this property and you buy it for 170, you're saying the ARV will be 230. Is that correct? That 230 number came from your realtor. Who did it come from? The expenses are all the furniture and stuff. Okay, I see. So right now, as it sits, the ARV is 230. Is that right? Is that right? If you get this for 170, what's the ARV? What's the ARV if you get it for what's the actual value of this property? Is it 199? There is not much for reno to do. Okay, 20,000. Is that in addition to the 25,000 for the furniture? So 45,000? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the price you're talking about. I see. 200,000. Okay. So worst case scenario, Marie, you buy this property, you do this Airbnb, it doesn't work out the way you want to, and you sell the property. Obviously, there's a cost for liquidation of the property. You should come out, maybe making a little bit of money, depending on why you decided to sell. But if you can get $30,000 in the buy, they'll try for 3 years. Okay, you should be okay. I mean, worst case scenario if you sell it. What you can't have though, Marie, is this place empty. It can't be empty. It'll crush you. It can be crushing. My apologies financially. So what I suggest, Marie, is a couple things. Number one, find out what you would need to do if you rent, like what kind of rent you could get if you rented it all year round, and more due diligence on the Airbnb and the success of making sure that that's a successful business model for the area. Now, Marie, you said that they do rent those out. That's an area where there's a lot of Airbnb. Is that right? And he also said, Marie, that a family member owns this. Does your family member need the money? Does the family member need to sell? We looked at the stats. Okay. Does the family member need to sell? Retired. Okay. Do they need to sell though? They need to sell. Okay. They need to sell. Shoot. Okay. What do they need? They want to move. Okay, are they moving immediately? They live in this property, is that right, Marie? Or they just own the cottage? Oh, they live in it. So they do live in the property, correct? Yes, they live in the property. Huh. Okay. Is there a mortgage on the property? No mortgage. Okay. All right. Okay, so Marie, if they're retired, ask them if they're looking for a certain amount of cash flow per month. Or do they need the capital to buy a house somewhere else? Do they need the capital to buy somewhere else? They're open on it. Okay. Are they renting, moving to rent, or moving to own? I want to convince her to rent. Well, I mean, we could probably do something with cash flow where they finance the whole thing. What I was thinking, Marie, is another option is instead of buying it, do a lease option with them with a fixed in purchase price of $199 for 12 months. Basically, you're doing it for 12 months to see if it works. And what would they need from you to allow you to try this out for 12 months and for them to survive, right? Because they're moving. So maybe they rent for a year, you pay them a mortgage payment for 12 months, and if it doesn't work out, you give them back the property. I don't know if that's an option or something they would be open to, but I'm trying to look at you for risk on your end. That's really what I. Okay, so Marie, see if they're open to doing that. You trying it out a year, find out what they need a month. You'll pay them that monthly as a mortgage on the property, or rent. Really, it's rent on the property with the intention of buying it a year from now for $200,000 or $170. So you lock in the price at $170. You try this for 12 months. If it works out, you buy the property from them, and you'll pay them a rent per month. That's the income that they need. The rent per month. What do they need per month to make it work? And then you could actually wheel it into seller financing for 100% financing them, you giving them a monthly payment in the retirement, which a lot of retirees are looking for. It would be helpful to them too for taxes. The other thing is to run the numbers. Rents are cheap. Cheap, I think you mean there. Okay, well, you would know. All right, so I want you to check the property if it was rented out, and then I want you to make sure you're doing the due diligence on the Airbnb to make sure it's successful, and then approach them about doing a rent to own with them for a year, where you're going to try this for a year, see if it works, and then lock in the price for a year and give them the money that's needed. So find out, Marie, what they're looking for money. What do they need per month for money? And if they need a lump sum amount, don't end it there. Just ask them, what do you need? What do you need to move so I can try this for a year? And be honest with them and direct and tell them that you want it to work. I'm sure you do with them. Find out what they need, okay? And then we'll follow up with it next week, okay, Marie? Good. If you need anything in between, Marie, obviously you know you can reach me. Okay, folks, we are a little bit over time, 10 minutes over time. Not a huge deal, but we're going to wrap it up. There we go. We're going to wrap it up. If you're good, type in yes or Y. Any dire straight questions that anybody needs, you can definitely email me if you need to. But we'll follow up with Kyle and Marie next week, okay? We'll keep following these deals. Frank, send me whatever you need, okay, my friend? Just put the numbers in and I can work it out. Okay, good. My pleasure, folks.